So after a little bit of a standoff, the UFL Youth League has got underway. Last Saturday, the games were held. All over the place, really. Some were in the New Valley Field, UMAC, Nomads, I think, and Peridor. I think we saw the under-17s and 19s. Coach Brian, from a football perspective, how important is a youth league for any league in the world?
Yeah, it's very important. I went down to Newmark yesterday and watched Global Under-15s against Morocco, and it was good to see a game, organised game. It was good to see the Global boys in the full regalia, so and the enthusiastic support from the parents was also a bit boisterous at times, but it was certainly good to see, so great enthusiasm from the kids, as I said, don't get me wrong, the standard in terms of the ability of the boys was maybe not a standard that I'm used to seeing in the UK or other countries, but I think we're heading in the right directions in terms of that. If we could accommodate them in terms of facilities, it would certainly help them, and the extra coverage that the kids are seeing football-wise. Obviously our games are covered, the UFL League games, Tuesday, Thursday nights, live on television. You get English football here, you get European football seen. I think all these things, if we can bring football to the country, it's going to encourage kids to start maybe from an earlier age. The ones we really need to try and target is really young ones, 5, 6, 7, to try and get the grasp of the development of them, because some of these kids at 15, 16, 17 maybe only took the game up 2 or 3 years ago, and it's quite a lot to make up in terms of their progression. But it's good to see, as I say, that we're doing this now, and we might not bear the fruits for a few years in terms of the real top quality, but hopefully we're heading in the right direction and it'll come through.
What you're saying now, we just did a recent tour in Italy, and the focus and the emphasis on this younger age bracket to what we don't normally see, the 5, 6, 7, 8 year olds, was amazing. It wasn't just like, let's teach them how to kick a ball. It was, let's teach them positional play. Let's not all just follow the ball. Let's teach them the reasoning behind strategy and structure. And parents were encouraging this development at the very earliest stages. And we spoke to the technical directors and those in charge at Serie A clubs, and they were saying, without this progression through there, they found in years gone by that there would always be a lag, from those at the 17, 19, 23-year-old national team levels, and then those that are coming through. So they found out that was because they were starting too late in the age bracket. They were starting at the 10, 12, 14-year-old age bracket. So, as Brian said, we are behind in the aspects of facilities and resources that we can put in at the current, at the present moment. However, being aware and alive to the necessity of developing through the very earliest stage is imperative.
I think come back to the early development of kids. When you were brought up yourself as a young boy, all you really needed was a football. Now I know you do a lot of sort of charity stuff, Roy, for the younger kids and underprivileged. Some of these kids just need a football at 4, 5, 6 year olds, and somewhere a small area to play. That's where they will actually develop their early ability. The most important thing is trying to bring the sport of football to them, that they can actually see that and try and copy and try and, you see TV games, they all want to be footballers, Ronaldo, they want to be the best players, Messi. They just need a ball, some of them, and some of the best countries in the world, like Brazil, have got a lot of poverty. And the kids only have a ball at a really, really young age, and that's where they develop all their natural skills just by playing them with their friends, so that's something that can certainly,
Pele says in his book, when they started on the streets and all of that, they didn't even have the ball. Each of them had to bring a sock, and they all put the sock in each other until they made the size of something of a ball, and off they went. And then someone donated the ball and everything else like that. We're fortunate now that we have a lot of parents who are enthusiastic about the development of their children's skill, and there is the ability to take that to the next level. But as Coach says, you just need somewhere where you can put a ball, have 2 kids playing, and off you go.
We've got this one kid actually in Pratas who's 7 years old. He's a jumper boy, so the jumper boys are the ones who jump onto the garbage trucks, get out the rubbish and sell it later at the junk shops. So he's pretty muscular for a 7-year-old, but about maybe this height, really small kid. One of the older girls, she started taking him to a nearby church. There's a little yard there. Football, just started teaching him. I didn't know about this until a few months afterwards. He joins training, it's like, who taught him? It was amazing. Because he played on grass in the Mondo Cup recently, just last Monday. And he was doing like these rollovers on the ball, dribbling past a couple of players at 7 years old. First time ever on grass, first time wearing football boots.
Yeah.
If you give them, you're right, absolutely. If you give them the space, the area, the footballs at that age, they can learn so quickly. And the Philippines really has a lot of potential in that way. A lot of really good.
Following from what you
kids.
say, though, it's a very, very important point. I think there is also something which can be learnt from Europe, which leads the way in development of footballers, not only giving them the ability to do so, but also something to play for.
Yeah.
Okay, and so the league that's been set up and so on, okay, it might be in its infancy and there might be a smaller amount of teams, but at the moment those that are playing or training and at schools and so on go, okay, we can now play somewhere. And that will lead on to the effect of, say, for example, this year there is a massive push for the under-23s national side to have a full-time coach, a full-time presence, international tours, so that they can be competitive at the SEA Games. And that will then come about by those in the youth league saying, you know what, we play in the youth league, we now have something that we can turn to, which is structured, which is organised, and which will be on a professional level, that we're not just left behind, so there isn't a massive gap to the national team, and so this year, Brian's fortunately taken that on, and so, the under-23s will have a full dedicated, outfit, and those through the, going through the league will go, you know what, in a couple of years, that's something I can play for.
Yeah.
And that's imperative to have the opportunity to play for something.
Absolutely. One of the, I think the Malaysian head coach said in one of his seminars that was the most important thing for a team at that level. You've got somewhere to play for. So when you're at training, you've got that incentive.
Correct.
And it's great to see that finally happen.
Well, if you see, following from the Malaysian thing, if you see, the under-23s and Brian are going through training camps this year in Italy for 10 days, and then towards the end of the year, they're also going to the Middle East. Malaysia's sending their team away for the SEA Games 2 months to train in Slovakia.
Yeah.
Right, that's how serious they're taking this. So the youth league is something which is a natural progression through to that. And it's something that has to be supported.
Yeah, every team looks like global. Hopefully in years to come, then we'll be able to pick from players from that to progress into the full team. And then that's what you do as you're a young kid. You have ambition to play at the highest level, and want to do. But as I say, football is obviously in its infancy a wee bit here, and the more people get to know about the game and try and promote it as much as we can, then it's going to encourage younger kids to take up the game. So hopefully, as I say, the league system's certainly a step in the right direction. And as I say, it was good to see some of the teams involved in the UFL having sort of starter teams there, and hopefully it will work out well.
I did that, coach, because from the past years, there hasn't been an actual league for the youth.
Yeah.
We always have football festivals during the summer, and that usually is after summer. It's just that's it. The kids go back to the school, they study, and probably have some playing time in school through the varsity ranks. But after school, after high school, when they get to college, they play in the UAAB or NCAA. After that, that's it. Now we have the UFL. The youth league will be their stepping stone, not just for a spot in the varsity teams for the schools, but also in their future endeavors should they play in the UFL as well as the national teams.
And leagues are brilliantly important because it's a sustainable competition. One-off tournaments, they're great for an event, they're nice for a day, but you've got to wait till the next month or 2 months before there's the next one. The leagues, every week. Every week training, every week you've got a game. It's fantastic. So it's really good to see the progress of the UFL. So follow us at FTW Sports. We'll keep you up to date with all the progress. And just follow us on Twitter.